Hey, hope how we all doing? Welcome back to Premier League Dad. My name is Key. We are live for a big afternoon of footy today. Big night of footy, actually. We've got Sunderland v Leeds. First up, Stadium of Light. What do we make of this one? Sunderland on the cusp of Europe, I guess. I still don't think they make Europe, but it's an absolutely fantastic run that they're on, you've got to say. Especially at home. Absolutely outrageous. And they could go up to 5th tonight with a win over Leeds. Leeds, for their part, I mean, they seem to be pulling away from relegation, or rather, maybe West Ham and Burnley are not doing enough to drag themselves out of the relegation places. But a Leeds win here could be transformative for them as well. So it's a very, very pivotal game, this one, for both sides. I've got to say I fancy Sunderland. I can't see Leeds winning this one, but I think a point for them here would be a really, really good result. That's my prediction anyway. I think I'd go Sunderland 1-1. Sunderland 1-1. Sunderland 2-1. Sunderland 2-1, I think. Do you know what? No, there's goals in this one today. There is goals in this one today. I don't know why I've got a feeling there's going to be goals in the early game today. I think it might be 3-2. Don't know why. 3-2. Leicester to Glory says, don't forget Twitch stream title. Has it not changed on Twitch? Has it not changed? What's the Twitch stream title? What is the title on Twitch? That's weird. It still says Preston North End. Oh, I can change that now. Cheers, man. I don't know why that doesn't pull through. It should really pull through with the rest of them, to be honest. Right, there you go. That should be all updated shortly. Right, there you go. Done. Fixed. We're sorted. We're back. Thank God for that. Cheers for that, Leicester, today. Thank you. Rest of the glory. I appreciate that. Ollie says, what game are you doing tomorrow? What game am I doing tomorrow? That's a good question. I should really know, shouldn't I? Right, let me pull the schedule up. Tomorrow we are doing... Oh, we've got 2 games tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing Angola against Egypt, 4 PM kickoff in the AFCON. And then we're doing East Midlands Derby, Leicester versus Derby, 7:45. So we're going to be watching Leicester to glory tomorrow. Leicester v Derby. Looking forward to that one. Finners Matty, love the new graphics. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Working hard on them. Adrian, hey Key, how's it going? Leicester to glory, it never changes on Twitch. Always see it after the stream, forget to tell you. Oh, cheers, mate, thank you. Well, hey, now I know I will absolutely... Because it was still saying, like, yeah, Preston against Blackburn. That was ages ago. And I think there was Newcastle v Barcelona Champions League. That was even further back. So, for whatever reason, it hadn't pulled through on Twitch. But we're live everywhere else, anyway. We're live everywhere else. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you. All the other places that we're on. Let me just catch up with the chat. Oh, do you know what? I can get that there now. Hang on. I can have that one. I think I'm gonna have that one, and that's gonna be running that one. Right. Sorry. Apologies. Just need to catch up with all these gadgets and gizmos. Reese says, sad state of affairs, being desperate for a Sunderland win just to keep the false hope alive and keep kicking for another few days. Do we genuinely think Burnley can stay up though, Reese? I know you're saying false hope, but surely you've got there's a little tiny bit of you that thinks you might just stay up. Oh, Mozambique have scored again against Gabon in the AFCON. I really thought Gabon had come back into that one. Ollie says, are you still doing the AFCON tonight? Possibly, maybe. I'm going to see how we feel after the second game. I might go on and do Ivory Coast, Cameroon tonight, yeah. So I'm going to see. It probably will. Just depends on the turnaround time, because I think by the time It's an 8 o'clock kickoff, that one, isn't it? Is it 8 o'clock? 7 o'clock? 8. Yeah, we should be able to do that. We'll do the AFCON tonight. Corin, hi Key. I'm saying 3-1 to Leeds. Don't know why, I just have a feeling. Nice. Lewis says, nice new setup here. Cheers for that, Lewis. Thank you. And Reveal Clothing, does Jude Bellingham start for England at the World Cup? Yes, I think he does. In my opinion, he does, yeah. If I could start... I wrote down my England lineup yesterday. Someone asked me, Key, write down your England World Cup lineup. And my England World Cup lineup does include Jude Bellingham in the... yeah, it does include Jude Bellingham in the 10. FTM says, Dan Ballard out with an injury. Jake Yoki, how are you? Good to see you, lads. Dan Ballard out with an injury. Yeah, I was going to say, we'll go through the lineups now, actually. The lineups, if you are watching, well, I guess wherever you're watching now, fantastic. We've got total consistency across all platforms. It's brilliant. I'm not used to everyone being able to see the same stuff. But now you can. So we can see the lineups together. The Leeds lineup is on your screen at the minute, I think, or it was just, and then it's gone off. But Leeds are playing a 3 at the back as usual. Lucas Perry in goal. Strike, Bijol and Roden at the back with Goodmanson and Bogle in the wing-back areas. Stack, Ampadu and Aronson in midfield. And then it's Okafor and Calvert-Lewin as the front two. For Sunderland, it's Robin Ruffs in goal. Mukiele. Dennis Sirkin at centre-back. Isn't he normally a left-back? Surely Geertrude's going to be playing at centre-back. I think that's... Flash Scores have got this completely wrong here anyway. I think it's Mukiele right-back. I think Aldrete and Geertrude are going to be the centre-backs with Sirkin at left-back. Lefay and Xhaka in midfield with Chris Rigg. Really looking forward to seeing Chris Rigg. He has not been involved as much this season as I would have expected maybe, but I really, really rate Chris Rigg. Fantastic young player. So I'm intrigued to see how he does today. And then it's Hume and Adingra on the wings with Brobby as the sole centre-forward. It's not a particularly attacking lineup, that, for Sunderland. I thought they'd maybe go a bit stronger. I was expecting maybe to see maybe Isidore starting or Mayenda, but yeah, it's not a particularly strong lineup, that, I've got to say. Right, Callum says Calvert-Lewin to score again today, and Callum Coyle, are you streaming Palace? I am, mate, yeah. I'm live for Palace straight after this one, so yeah, stick around, make sure you've got your likes on and the notifications and all that good stuff. Reese's Footy Feed says, realistically, do I? Heck, but fans have to believe, otherwise can't expect players to retain belief. That's very true. Leicester to Glory says, if Leeds win this, I have them staying up. I want Burnley to stay up. Was hoping for a late goal yesterday. Really hoping Brozier comes good. I'm just not sure what to make of Leeds. I really thought that they would go down. But West Ham really, really surprising me. The result against Fulham yesterday really shocked me. Because I think West Ham have got the ability. I think West Ham are a better side than Leeds. I do think West Ham are a better side than Leeds. They've got better players. They're better managed. And I think long term, I still think West Ham will... Between now and the end of the season, I think West Ham get more points than Leeds do. Whether or not that's enough to make up the gap, I don't know. But I do think West Ham get more points than Leeds do. Sarah says, I would like Sunderland and Leeds to stay up. But I think Sunderland certainly will at this point, won't they? Sunderland playing fantastically well, and they've got massive confidence. The experience brought in by Granit Xhaka has been unbelievable. Absolutely fantastic. They're currently on 27 points. West Ham on 13. 14 points clear as we enter. Maybe it could even be more than that. It could be 17 points clear, couldn't it? Leicester to Glory says West Ham will spend more in January than Leeds. That's also very true, yeah. Very, very true. As soon as January comes round, that could be a game changer for so many of those teams down the bottom. Nottingham Forest. Listen, Nottingham Forest, they're only 5 points ahead of West Ham. They've got Elliot Anderson, they've got Murillo, they've got players who could be tempted by a January move. I'm sure Sean Dyche will be asking for money. Whether or not he gets money is a different matter altogether. Reese's Footy Feed says, Fortress of Elland, the difference compared to the toxic, soulless environment at West Ham. Yeah, the stadium is a huge factor, isn't it, for any team hoping to stay up. And West Ham, if they could swap back tomorrow, I reckon 100%. You'd literally, if you could ask all West Ham fans, if you did a poll, if you could rebuild Upton Park and swap it back, would you do it? I don't think there's a single West Ham fan that wouldn't. It's that bad there, isn't it? It really is. But listen, we've got Sunderland, Leeds, Crystal Palace and Tottenham coming up straight after that. We'll keep you updated on the AFCON games, Equatorial Guinea, Sudan, Algeria, Burkina Faso. Gabon currently losing against Mozambique. Aubameyang did score in that one, by the way, to get it back to 2-1, bang on half-time, but Mozambique have come out second half and gone and pinched it, so they might be going through to the next round. Leicester's glory, if Sunderland have a chance of going down, then Wolves could stay up. I am still not entirely giving up on Wolves. It would take an absolutely splendid, splendid January transfer window, but I still think Wolves could. I still think there's a possibility for Wolves, I really do. Reveal clothing, will Villa make the top 4? Not for me, mate. No, not for me. I don't think Villa make the top 4. I think Villa maybe finish maybe 5th or 6th. I don't think they qualify for the Champions League via the league. If they are going to qualify for the Champions League next year, it's probably going to be via maybe winning the Europa League, because they're just not going to do it via the top 4. They're not going to finish top 4. Not in my humble opinion, anyway. Corin says Sunderland might be in trouble with no Ballard. I think West Ham are going down with Burnley and obviously Wolves. Taylor, Yoki, my cat passed away this morning. Still in shock and sad. Watching a bit of footy to cheer me up. Oh, mate, I'm really sorry to hear that. You bloody cat. Just over Christmas as well. Very sad, mate. I'm really sorry to hear that. Oliver says Sunderland top 6. That's not happening. That is really not happening. And Papa says, do we love Hugo Ekitike? Yes, we do. Absolutely. What a player. Leicester says, chuck 10 on Wolves to stay up before. Good lad. I think that might have been money wasted, but I'm rooting for you, mate. I would like Wolves to stay up. I really would. Will says, what's Dan Ballard's injury? It's a big blow for Sunderland. I think it's just a knock, isn't it? There you go. Régis Le Bris says Dan got a kick on his ankle against Brighton and was a bit too short to be available for today. He's been really important for us. Always a shame to lose a player like him, but you have to manage your circumstances, and we have options in this game. So apparently it's just a knock. Apparently his ankle's swollen up, and that's why he couldn't get his boot on today. Couldn't get his boot on today because he got a big, a kick in his ankle against Brighton. Leicester to glory says, people giving England this 5th Champions League spot too easy. Yeah, this is it. People still think that it's going to be a top 5 Champions League teams, and it might not well be, given how many teams we have in Europe. It's really going to dilute that coefficient down if 1 or 2 of them go out early, which there's every chance Palace do. I don't think Palace have been going good guns in Europe at all. Villa might do very well in Europe. They're always worth a backing under Unai Emery, but I think Sunderland. I think Forest might go out early, and I think Palace might go out early. Oliver says, where does Sunderland coming in your opinion? I think Sunderland would do amazingly well. It would be an absolutely sensational season for Sunderland if they finished anywhere around mid-table, 11th, 12th. That is a great season for Sunderland. And I mean a top season. We're off and underway here at Stadium of Lights. Right, there you go. Steve says, if Villa keep this form until March, not winning but not losing so much, they'll finish top 4 for sure for me. It's a really big thing, Villa. That if they can get top 4 via the league, that is a massive, massive achievement. So I just don't think they do. I think if they're going to get Champions League, it's going to be via winning the Europa. Oliver says, who do you support, pal? I support Liverpool, mate. Strike from... Oh, unlucky. Strike from a Dingra. And it's gone behind. It's going to be a Sunderland corner. It's so mad, isn't it, by the way, that Adingra's not even at the AFCON? He was literally like one of the best young African players not that long ago. And, yeah, left out of the Ivory Coast squad. Sarah says, I think Frank was stupid leaving Brentford for Spurs in the first place. Do you think he stays at Spurs? Do you think... Because there's a lot of rumours today, by the way, doing the rounds, that if Thomas Frank does... You know, Spurs were to lose at Palace today, that might be him done. That might be, Spurs might pull the trigger. Corin says, did you see that lovely comment Xhaka put on that guy's post about cancer? I hadn't, no. He's a really nice fella, Granit Xhaka, apparently. Apparently he's done loads of stuff like that. And obviously as a captain, it's part and parcel of his duties anyway to kind of be seen as... taking the lead on that stuff, and it's nice. It's a real privilege you get to do that stuff. But apparently he's a very, very nice bloke as well. Beanie says, Villa's issue will be the later stages of Europa League and the squad being stretched. It's very true, yeah. They're going to have to use the squad a lot better than they have done. Ollie Watkins starting to come back into form is a very welcome boost because he's been pretty poor this season. But 2 big, big goals off the bench yesterday to win it. It's massive for them. Leicester to glory. If Spurs lose, is Frank gone? I do think he is. I think he probably will go. I don't think he should, but I think Spurs let the situation get on top of him like that. I think they're a team a little bit like Chelsea, I guess, in that they're very, very quick to pull the trigger on managers. Look how quick Nuno Santo was gone. And we know he's a talented manager as well, but he was gone fairly quickly. Spurs don't stay patient with managers very long, and the right decision would be to stick with Thomas Frank. But I don't think they will. No, I think he'll probably go. Oliver says, what's the score? It's 0-0, Oliver. And Corey says, oh yeah, Frank will probably get sacked if Spurs lose. Imagine. Leicester to glory, bring Ange back. And Life of Justin says, Frank will get the rest of the season. No one who is quality is realistically available. Who do you think Spurs would look at, though? Who do you think would be the obvious replacements for him if he was to go? Do you think they'd go and maybe get, maybe the best of the Championship? Someone like maybe go and see if they could tease Frank Lampard in, or... I do actually think, for what it's worth, I think there's something in Spurs appointing a humble manager. And I don't mean humble in the sense of, like, personality trait. I mean like, Liverpool appointing Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers was a good young manager who had done well at Swansea. They'd won the League Cup and whatever. He was a good young manager. But I felt like that was a big part in our progression, I guess, as a club, from being a team that expected to challenge, and under Benitez we were in the latter stages of the Champions League every year, and then Spurs have been there with Pochettino, haven't they? And I feel like they've not been maybe not humbled enough. I know that's really, but they won the Europa League last year. There's still a sense at Spurs. I feel like the fan sort of expectation is still that they should be in and around the top 4. They should be competing with teams in the latter stages of the Champions League. I think they need to realign their fan expectations. And the way that you do that as a club is by hiring a young manager who has the right philosophy, but maybe doesn't have the credibility just yet. And then it's like, you appoint him and you say, right, listen, He's not the big name that's going to win us things immediately, but we're going on a journey here. We're going on a journey, and it's going to take 4, 5, 6 years for us to be title winners. But that is the pathway that we're on with this guy. And they could go and hire someone like, I don't know, let's say they went out and got Vitor Matos from Swansea, right? He's had a really good start at Swansea. He's very, very well liked. He's, very charismatic. I think someone like him would be a really good appointment for Spurs. Corin, I think they need to get a reckless manager like Conte. And Liam says, afternoon, Key. Good to see you, Liam. How's it going? Will says, Ryan Mason back to Spurs. He's doing well at West Brom. He really isn't. He really isn't doing well at West Brom. West Brom are all over the place at the minute. Steve Cooper, Leicester to glory. So McKenna, perhaps. Maybe Kieran McKenna wouldn't be a bad shout. Yeah, plays a certain style of football. Hasn't really done... He's done well at Ipswich, but not like so well that he would come in and there would be grandiose expectations straight away. I think that's the right approach for Spurs. For a club like Spurs as well, they need someone who would be... Like, there you go, Xavi. Life of Justin just said Xavi wouldn't go anywhere near Spurs. They don't have the ambitions for him. Fabio Paratissi's also leaving. And that's exactly the type of manager Spurs don't want. Xavi would be a nightmare. And that's not necessarily anything to do with Xavi. It's because the expectations would be, oh my God, we've got Xavi. He's at Barcelona, one of the greatest midfielders of all time. He's going to have us playing a certain style of play. And we're going to be brilliant. And it would be an absolute mess. It would be an absolute mess. I feel like Thomas Frank had enough of a reputation coming from Brentford that it's not actually realigned the expectations at Spurs. He was still one of the best managers in the league. If they went and appointed Andoni Iraola, I'm pretty confident that Spurs would be in pretty much the same position they are now. And I think that's the difference. I think they need to appoint someone who's... like I said, like Liverpool, when we appointed Brendan Rodgers, it was a massively underwhelming appointment, but it actually was a pretty good appointment in the long run. It set us up for the next step with Jurgen Klopp. Leicester to glory, he can take our manager and Daka for Frank, free trade. Sarah, hi, Tolga. Rodri, how's it going, mate? Chimey, I don't think Xavi is a world-class manager. No, he's not a world-class manager. Did I say world-class manager? I apologise. A world-class player. A world-class player, I meant. He was absolutely world-class as a player. Rodri, I had such a good day yesterday watching Tunisia v Nigeria in the stadium. It was such a good match, even though we lost, Key. Well, listen, couple of great games in the AFCON today as well, so commiserations that Tunisia didn't win, but yeah, good result all the same. Ronnie says no one is saving RMS Tottenham. It's already been hit by the iceberg and can't be saved from sinking. And Tony Snooker's fan says, hi, do you think Norwich City will stay up? I seriously do think we'll stay up because of what Philippe Clement has done for us so far. Really impressed. Yeah, Philippe Clement's come in and made changes immediately, hasn't he? His system looks a little bit different. I mean, I've only seen a couple of highlights of the Norwich results, but of the Norwich games, rather. I've seen the results, but the performances have been really good. I thought the Watford game, the Preston game, you could see immediately a big difference in how they played. The intensity's a lot better. Which is mad because that was one of the things he was criticised for at Rangers. Leeds are in here. Might be a first chance. Effort. Good save. Good save from Roofs. Stacked with the chance. Welsh Wing says, Suarez carried Rodgers in my opinion. Funny enough, it's funny his Coutinho went trash after Suarez left. Eh? Coutinho went trash after Suarez left? What are you talking about? Coutinho was unbelievable after Suarez left. I was going to say, Coutinho was probably one of the best players in the world after Suarez left. Corin says, got to go. I'll be back in 2025. No worries, Corin. Liam, predictions for this game. I think 2-1 Sunderland. But the way the game started, I actually think it might not be the goal fest I was expecting. Ronnie says, the only thing that might do Tottenham some good is relegation. Won't go that far. Will says, where did Roofs come from? He's a great keeper and Dutch, but I'm not sure which club. He came from Ligue 1, didn't he, Robin Roofs? I know he's Dutch, but I'm pretty sure he came from Ligue 1. Where was his career before? He bounced around a little bit. Oh, no, he's NEC. NEC Nijmegen in the Eredivisie. Totally wrong. Yeah. Who's the keeper who I'm getting in confused with then? That's done my head in. Do you know what I'm thinking? Leeds. Lucas Perry. Lucas Perry came from Lyon, didn't he? Fucking idiot. Welsh wing in 14-15 agreed, but since Klopp was appointed, he went downhill. Coutinho went downhill after Jurgen Klopp was appointed. You are off your meds, mate. Get and see the men in the white coats. Honestly, you are off your meds. Philip Coutinho was 100 million times better after Suarez left. And that was nothing to do with Suarez. It wasn't even a factor. He was great with Suarez, but he was like, that is so mad what you've just said. I have never ever heard that being expressed ever. There is no way anyone would argue that Coutinho was not better before. That he was better before Suarez left. No chance. He just got better as he got older. It wasn't even anything to do with Suarez. He was absolutely insane. Liam says Bezo came from Brest. Yeah, maybe Marco Bezo. I wasn't thinking of him though. I was thinking of Lucas Perry. It's because we're watching Sunderland Leeds. But yeah, Robin Riffs came from the Eredivisie. 3-star Reds, another day of football, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yes. Love it. Life of Justin says Coutinho was a baller, non-biased take, and I hate Liverpool, but got to speak facts only. Coutinho was unbelievable. Probably one of my favourite ever Liverpool players. He was different class. He makes it into my all-time 11. Service says Coutinho went poor when he went to Barcelona. He still did all right at Barcelona. He still did okay at Barcelona. I mean, he wasn't 147 million good, but he wasn't terrible. But Barcelona just didn't. The system didn't work with him because all of the ball went to Messi every single time, and that's not what it was at Liverpool. At Liverpool, the ball went into Coutinho quickly, whereas at Barca, he wasn't even a secondary player. He was like third player, so he never saw as much of the ball. Sunderland clearing it away. We've not had any meaningful chances in this one so far. Leeds chance! Unlucky, over the bar, corner kick. Okafor probably should have done better there. Welsh Wing says, memory must be foggy then because I don't remember him much under Klopp, but he went to Barcelona and did really poor. He was under Jurgen Klopp, mate, for nearly 3 years, 2 and a bit years. And then we sold him for 142 million to Barcelona. So he must have, like, just based off that financial figure alone, he must have been pretty good. Even if we don't look at anything else, he must have been pretty good under Jurgen Klopp for Barcelona to think, do you know what, we'll pay a world record fee for him. Here's Okafor. Corner to Leeds. Liam, I'll take a point here, to be honest, but I reckon we could nick it. Well, you've started all right. Leeds have certainly started maybe the better of the two teams so far. Tolga's saying Leeds will win this one. Tolga's gone for a Leeds win. Leeds to break Sunderland's home record. What do you think? Will says, what does Régis Le Bris do in the January window, do you reckon? Or do you not think they'll do much? I don't think he can do much. I'd be amazed if Sunderland give him much more money. They spent massively in the summer. I think he's going to have to deal with what he's got. And that's still not a bad thing. Sunderland strike, edge of the box. Oh, you've got to hit that. You've got to hit that. Ben says, new layout is clean. What are you using? I'm not using anything. Just built it. Just built it. Life of Justice says, back then it was crazy money and offer no club could refuse. Absolutely. Welsh Ring says, Firmino, I enjoyed under the early years of Klopp. I remember him putting Arsenal defenders on the floor and scoring worldies against us like he had a grudge, which I admired, but annoyed me immensely. Yeah, Firmino scored every time. Firmino and Jota, they always scored against Arsenal. Jake says, Sunderland 2, Leeds 1 is my final score prediction. So far, it's looking like Leeds the better side, honestly. Leeds have been much the better side. Right, corner kick for Sunderland here. Life of Justin can't give away his trade secrets. Well, imagine if I did. Everyone else's stream would look like this. That's no good, is it? That's no good. Lisha says, opening 16 minutes, who's looked more dangerous, you reckon? Leeds, by far. Yeah, Sunderland have had a little bit more of the ball in the last couple of minutes, but it's basically been Leeds with the kind of half chances. Welsh Ring says, remember that disrespectful no-look goal he did via us? Yeah, different class, wasn't he? Loved him. Dylan says, Key has used his social skills and his passion for football to build this excellent setup. Well, I wouldn't go that far. But I appreciate the sentiment all the same. Leeds down the right-hand side. It's gone out for a throw-in. Sarah says, we need a Firmino kind of player back at Liverpool. I think Wirtz, honestly, I think Wirtz is the closest thing we've got. We're not going to play with a false nine anymore. Arne Slot doesn't really want that type of player. Ekatike a little bit does drop in the way that Firmino did, but he's not as talented in that sense. Wirtz basically is the closest thing to Coutinho, Firmino we're going to get. Cheers for the gift, Will. Sunderland clear it away. That's going to be a foul. Yep, foul to Sunderland. Ampadu, I think it was there, was it? Or Okafor. He's been pretty poor. I think he's been a pretty underwhelming signing for Leeds, Okafor. I thought he might do better. I mean, he's another one who's bounced around in his career. You know, lots thought of him when he was a lot younger. Came out of Red Bull Salzburg, didn't he? And you know, lots thought of him as kind of an emerging centre forward, emerging sort of supporting forward rather. And yeah, he went to Italy. Didn't really work out for him at AC Milan or at Napoli. And yeah, Leeds. Not sure whether or not it's a particularly good fit. But 18 million quid apparently Leeds have paid for him. Will says, if you're Leeds, what do you do in the January window? I think they need goals. This again, you know, it's funny we're talking about Okafor, but you know, you look at Leeds' goal threat, and they've got Okafor and they've got Calvert-Lewin. They just don't score enough. Leeds. They don't create enough. They don't score enough. So for me, I think they'd be better off looking at. I think they need a midfielder or a wide player if possible, but someone who can create and someone who can score. Now that's not easy for a team like Leeds, but they need to find solutions because Calvert-Lewin and Okafor will not get them the goals that they need to stay up, in my opinion. Be yourself, Dylan. Gabon losing 3-2 to Mozambique. Is it full time, that one? Yeah, still time to go. It was 3-1 at half time. Yeah, a couple of minutes left. We need a Gabon equaliser in that one. Would be brilliant. Aubameyang scored the first one. I think Aubameyang's gone off. No, he's not. He's not gone off. Oh, Brobby. Very, very close there, Brobby. Callum says, this very much feels like a championship tie at the minute. It is, yeah, it's been a pretty poor start to the game, hasn't it? We've not had a good run of fixtures on this channel lately, I've got to say. We've been really, really unlucky with the games that we've picked. I was so close to skipping this one and doing the Mozambique-Gabon game. I really was, and I think that would have been an absolute monster. It's 3-2 at the minute, going into the last couple of minutes of the game. This one's been a really dreadful game so far. Like, really, really dreadful. Two teams who, honestly, probably should be championship sides. On the basis of what we've seen in the first 20 minutes. Admittedly, Sunderland missing a lot of players. Leeds, not necessarily missing a lot of players, Leeds, but Sunderland not really at the races so far. I'm more intrigued to see the Palace-Tottenham game later on. Offside there. Yeah, Leeds have only got 2 players missing to injury. Longstaff and Dan James. This is pretty much their first choice team. Other than Dan James and Longstaff. Whereas you look at Sunderland, there's no Bertrand Traore, there's no Talby, no Siddiqui. Luca 9 suspended, no Masuaku, Mandava, Diarra. Obviously Dan Ballard missing due to an injury as well. So it's a very weakened Sunderland side. Life of Justin says, a Glasner masterclass incoming. Do you think so? I think that one's going to be a... I hate to say it. I think that one's going to be a pretty dull and dour 1-1, 0-0 type of game as well, because Spurs can't afford to lose, and Palace are playing shocking recently. Palace are absolutely shocking. They've not won a game in their last 4. Obviously, lost to City, lost to Arsenal on penalties in the Cup, got battered by Leeds at Ellen Road, and they also drew against Coups in the Europa Conference League. 2-2 at home against Finnish minnows, Coups Kuopio. So, yeah, for me, I think Leeds are... I think Palace, not Leeds. I think Palace are going to struggle today against Spurs to really secure 3 points in any sort of confident way. Red Wave says, damn, I thought they had more. And Liam says they're unbeaten at home. What did you expect? A goal fest. Behave, sir. Well, I did think we would see a goal fest today. I thought Sunderland would really have a go. We've seen 5 goals in Leeds' last game against Palace. Ooh, that was a naughty tackle, that from Adingra. Roden, I think he's going to have to go off here. He definitely rolled his ankle there. Pooh, it was a naughty tackle. Life of Justice says, we want the chaos, and Red Rebellion, I reckon Spurs will win later. If they don't, there is going to be chaos. We want the chaos, yes. Yeah, I don't think Palace are in a good moment at the minute. Lucy says, send you the halftime quiz. Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you for that. I'll have a little look. Jake will slap Leeds on New Year's Day. Napoli winning 1-0. Cheers, Dylan. And be yourself, Dylan. I heard Andy Carroll's going to court. Yes. Saw something about that. Liam says, Sunderland haven't scored in a while and we are away from home, so we're holding our own. Like I said, it's not a bad result, this, for Leeds. If they get a point away at Sunderland, it's a good result, whichever way you want to dress it up. But the performance so far, well, the game so far has been pretty dire, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Like you slapped us at Ellen Road. We did slap you at Ellen Road. If not for the referee gifting you a penalty, we absolutely slapped you at Ellen Road. Oh, that was a really naughty tackle, that. You can see his ankle bend. Be yourself, Dylan. It's been like watching paint dry. Paint dry's been a bit more entertaining than this, mate. It's mad that 25 minutes in and the most entertaining thing we've seen so far has been the tackle on Joe Roden. By the way, Jimmy, how's the game so far, Key? Yeah, they're not great. Not great at all. You've not missed anything. It's been a very, very poor game so far. 25 minutes in rather. Leeds Probably going to lose Joe Rodon here. I imagine he's going to limp off because that was it looks like he's rolled his ankle. I don't think we'll see him again in this game. I'd be amazed if we do. His ankle's going to swell up now. That is an ankle roll if ever I've seen one. He's still limping. He's trying to put a bit of pressure on it, but it's not comfortable, that. He might be able to make it to half-time, maybe, but I think Rodon's games, his race is run in this game. Let me just move this over here. I'm looking after it. I'm looking after it for FIFA. I'm looking after it for FIFA. Let's put this over here for now. Let's put it over there for now. Out the way. Luke says, are you doing Foothills Watchalong on Tuesday and New Year's Day? Foothills? What's Foothills? Foothills Watchalong on Tuesday and New Year's Day. "27 minutes gone." Tobias says football, I think he means. Luke, I'm live every day, mate. Every single day. No breaks. Unless something really terrible has happened and I'm really poorly, I am live every single day. Every single day. There's a football match on every day of the year. And I am on every single day of the year. Unless I am ill or someone else is ill or I don't know, something dreadful has happened. They're the only reasons that I wouldn't normally be live. So, yes. 500 plus games this year so far. I was even live on Christmas Day. I was probably the only football watch-along channel that was live on Christmas Day. So, yes, I will be live next week, I promise you. I'm live every day. Liam says, Rodon's hard as nails. You'd have to break his leg to get him off. Red Rebellion, the title race is also going to the crunch for Arsenal now. Oh, Dingra's nicked it! It's 1-0. Where's that come from? Where's that come from? I tell you what, the Ivory Coast might just be regretting not taking this kid with them. It's a big shock that he's not been able to go to the African Nations Cup. But I tell you what, he's just stuck Sunderland in front, and I don't know where this has come from because, honestly, the game has been drab, it's been dull, it's been dire. It's been absolutely shocking. It was a long throw into the box. Flicked on. Leeds clear it out. Is he onside here? I think he might just be off. It's a great finish, by the way. But I think he might just be off. Granit Xhaka with the assist. I think we're going to get a VAR check on this one. It's a lovely finish from Adingra. A lovely finish, but I think he might actually be offside there. I think he could be offside. I really hope he's not, but I think he is going to be offside. Shay, are you doing Cameroon Ivory Coast tonight, mate? Yeah, I will be. I haven't got it scheduled yet, but it is there. It just needs publishing. Gabon 2, Mozambique 3, finished in the AFCON. What a game that was, by the way. Is this going to be given? I'm telling you, we're going to have a long check on this one, I think. There's going to be a little VAR check. But has the goal been given? 3-Star Red says, where's Scottish GHK? You may want to take a look at that trophy key before it arrives back in London next summer. Yeah, I don't think it's going to anywhere near us, mate. I think this one's going South America. This one is going to be in South America. I'll plonk it there. We'll have it there for the... We'll have it over here for the live. Is it too distracting? Is it too distracting if I have the World Cup trophy just next to me, chilling? It's a great pass from Granit Xhaka, it has to be said. Liam says... Jake says, Leeds will not stop Vert and Ekatike. Danny Farke's not happy with that. And Rodon's gone down again. Oh, hey, Liam, what happened? We've not broke his leg. You have to be hard as nails to get Rodon off. You'll have to break his leg, apparently. Well, there's no leg break, but he's there trudging off down the tunnel. Roden is off the pitch. Goal stands. Callum says balls was offside. His hand was offside. Keane says, hey bro, hope you had a good weekend. Do you think after yesterday's result, Aston Villa confirmed top 3? I don't think Aston Villa finish in the top 4, Josh. No, I think Aston Villa finish maybe 5th or 6th. So I don't think they get Champions League football via the league. I think they might get Champions League football if they win the Europa League. But I personally don't think Villa qualify via the league. No. But the goal has been given. Sunderland 1, Leeds 0. Probably a fractured ankle there. So. Well, we're off and underway now. At least we've got a goal. We've got an actual game on now because it's been a terrible, terrible watch so far. But still, we've got a goal finally. FTM, it was a good finish by Adingra, to be fair. Very, very good finish, wasn't it? Yeah. Life of Justin, we know England won't win that anytime soon. This is as close as England are getting to a World Cup. Jules Rimet on my desk. Sunderland spreading the play here. This is better. Will says, could Lucas Perry have done better with the goal, or was it too good of a finish? I think that was a good finish. I don't think you can look at the goalkeeper on that one. Lucas Perry's not been particularly good this season for Leeds, but I wouldn't be blaming him for that one. Liam says, didn't even check that, but if Leeds scored, they'd definitely check it. Simpson thinks it's going to be 2-2 this one. It's going to finish 2-2. Oh, its tackles are flying in now. It's getting a little bit feisty, this one. A little bit feisty. Leeds down the left-hand side. Good ball in. Oh, Dominic Calvert-Lewin couldn't get there. Game's just woke up. It's just livened up a little bit. Like Steven Gerrard, you can smell it. Brian Dent says, can Burnley beat Newcastle at Turf Moor on Tuesday night? Yes, the way Newcastle played at Old Trafford, yes, they absolutely can beat Newcastle. Turf Moor, difficult place to go. So yeah, Newcastle's away form, not great. Do I think Burnley will beat Newcastle? Probably not. But can they? Absolutely. Yeah. 3-Star Red says, the trophy is distracting next to you, Key. Takes the shine of your forehead, mate. Only joking, mate. Thanks. Thanks for that one, mate. Very kind of you. Will says, since Tanaka's come on for Roden, Leeds have looked better, in my opinion. Well, they've got a corner here. And Liam says, woke up because they have injured our main player. He'll be out for Liverpool, I reckon. Justice. Justice. Jake says, are we back in the title or a few more games until we're fully back in it? No, we're not in the title race, mate. Liverpool aren't winning the league this season. No. We'd have to go on a run very similar to Aston Villa, 10, 12 games on the spin winning. If that was to happen, then, maybe we could. We're not a million miles away from City and Arsenal. It's another corner to Leeds. Rasmus has scored for Napoli, and Red Rebellion says, really feel for Isak. It seemed like he was ready to fire it up. Frimpong, Wirtz and Ekatike have settled now. Frimpong was our man of the match yesterday for me. I thought Wirtz was brilliant, but Frimpong, I was saying all game, he was absolutely fantastic. Top quality. User 688, what about the save from the shortest keeper in the league yesterday? I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Jose Miguel Gomez, big up. Good to see you, Jose. Leeds pump it long. Calvert-Lewin gets it out. Tanaka has immediately changed things for Leeds, hasn't he? Yeah, Tanaka just getting on the ball, calming things down, keeping things moving. It's the one thing he is very good at, that. He's very good at keeping the ball moving. You don't want to do what they're doing now, basically, which is stop, foot on the ball, let Sunderland get back into position. You've got to keep one touch, moving on. And that's what Tanaka's very, very good at in the middle. 3-Star Reds looks a classy trophy, though. Certainly a good-sized replica. Still got to get myself a replica European Cup trophy. What do you mean, replica? It's the real one, this. I've told you. It's the real one. I got this off Messi. My mate Lionel dropped it off. He said, Key, just do us a favour, just have a little look after that one for me. And I said, absolutely, no problem. I'll look after that, and then I'll bring it to the World Cup next year. I'll fly it to the US. Will says, where did Tanaka come from? Japan. David Moy says, Everton, Sunderland and Aston Villa to finish top 10. I think Villa will, and I think Sunderland might. Everton absolutely will not finish top 10 though, mate. Absolutely not, no. I would be astonished if Everton finished top 10. They're getting nowhere near top 10. Come on, the Mackham, says Shell. And Sir Paget says, it would take a miracle for Liverpool to win the league. And Red Rebellion says, yep, Kirkes also playing well. Yeah, Kirkes did very well yesterday. Did very, very well. Shell says Keys on the Everton hate bus again. No, I was just asked whether Everton were going to finish in the top 10. I don't think they're going to finish in the top 10, that's all. Jake says, Will says, I know, but which club? Tanaka. I think he was a bit like Endo. Another Japanese import from for the Premier League. I'm pretty sure he came from Germany. I don't know which club. We got Endo from Stuttgart. Might have been Stuttgart. I don't know. I'm fairly confident Tanaka has played in the Bundesliga previously. I don't know if he came directly to Leeds from there, though. 3-star Reds afternoon shell ready for Tuesday. Tuesday night, Everton Forest. Corin says, I reckon Everton will finish 10th, if not higher. And Liam Manning says, Kawasaki Frontale we signed him from. Kawasaki Frontale. When was that? When did you sign him from Kawasaki Frontale? I'm sure I'd seen him in the Bundesliga. Has he been on loan there or something? No, you didn't. Hey, you're wrong, Liam. Hey, fancy me knowing something more about Leeds than you, eh? Fancy me knowing something more about Leeds than you. Isle Tanaka signed for Leeds United from Fortuna Dusseldorf. I didn't know the club, admittedly, but I knew he came from the Bundesliga. He'd been in Germany for 3 years. He's not played for Kawasaki Frontale for 2 or 3 years before he joined Leeds. Yeah, Fortuna Dusseldorf. Oh, Leeds, what a chance this is. Should be 1-1. Wow, off the line. What an absolutely unbelievable clearance that is. Oh, that is different class. That is absolutely different class. Oh, outrageous. That was fantastic. I think it was Aronson with the strike. It was a lovely bit of play, this. Calvert-Lewin with a fabulous little layoff into Aronson. Aronson's strike and off the line. Robin Roos was beaten, all ends up. Who is it who gets back and clears this? Oh, it's absolutely fantastic, that. That is absolutely different class. Aronson did all he could do, really. Left-footed. And I think it was Hume. Was it Hume who ends up getting the touch on it? I think it was Trey Hume. Shell says, we were awful against Burnley yesterday. Apparently that was a really, really poor game. People have been telling me it's one of the worst games of the season, full stop. Like, don't watch the highlights. It's dreadful. Just 2 really, really poor sides. Clarkey says you can never trust any Leeds United fans, Key. Corin says, who scored for Sunderland? It was Adingra. Yeah, Simon Adingra, who, I think if he'd have had his way, he would have been currently in Morocco at the African Cup of Nations, but he was left out of the Ivory Coast squad, and now he's, on Wearside, making a difference in a Premier League game. B. McCarran, Villa flying now. Do you think you'll make top 4 now, mate? Do you think you'll make top 4? I still don't personally, but you know, do you think you've got Champions League footy next season? Corin, I thought he was at the AFCON. Yeah, me too, mate. I thought he was as well. But yeah, left out by the Ivory Coast. Callum says you have to lay it off to Calvert-Lewin there. I thought he did well. I thought he did really well, Calvert-Lewin, just to get the ball to him. It was a good little Bergkamp-style layoff. Sunderland fan one says, let's go Sunderland. C. Wheatley says, all right, Key lad, how's it going, mate? Chance for Leeds, far post. Sunderland get it away. Better defending from the Mackhams here. Clarkey says, good on my man, Trey Hume. Yeah, fabulous clearance from Trey Hume. And Red Rebellion says, oh man, if Villa beat Arsenal this week. And we're live for that one as well, by the way. Villa beat Arsenal this week. It's going to change. It's going to change everything. Sarah Paget says, Burnley play anti-football. I mean, many would say Everton play the same. But yeah, Burnley certainly no interest in going forward. They need points. They don't need praise for performances. 3-Star Red says, Nottingham Forest did not deserve to lose against Man City. If we play like that, I reckon it'll be tough for Everton to get anything at the City ground. B. McCarran says, the players will be even more determined to get the club record. 12 wins in a row for Aston Villa. Against Arsenal, though. Against Arsenal at the Emirates. Unai Emery's absolutely, you can tell he's really looking forward to that one. Tony Snooker fan says, my second team is Arsenal. Where do you think Arsenal needs to get to help them win the title? Who do I think Arsenal needs to get, or what do I think they need to get? I guess, I think Arsenal probably need a finisher. The thing that they've needed all along, you know. Mikel Arteta has signed Gabriel Jesus for 50 million quid from City. It didn't work out. He then paid 60 million quid for Kai Havertz. It didn't work out. He's paid 70 million for Gyökeres now. Forgive me, I don't think it's working out. I think Arsenal lack a proper centre-forward that is going to get them the league title. And I think that's, if they don't win the league this year, that's the reason. And Arteta will have had 3 bites of the cherry and not got the right one every single time. Oh, unlucky Leeds, far post, nearly 1-1. P. McCarran says, last game at the Emirates was a draw and the one before was a win. I remember both of them. Yeah, the one before that was Watkins as well, wasn't it? C. Wheatley says, good mate, how's yourself? I'm very good, mate, thank you. R. Mackenzie says, hate Sunderland 5th while we're 13th. Corin says, some of my friends are saying if Villa beat Arsenal, then they think Villa win it all. I think that's reactionary. I think that's over the top. People are far too influenced, I think, by form. You know, Liverpool, 9 defeats in 12 not that long ago, and everyone was saying, oh, Arne Slot's going to get sacked, you've got to get him sacked, and Liverpool are going to be bottom half, worst champions ever, all this sort of stuff. Now, 5 wins in 7, 3 clean sheets. Should have been 4 clean sheets yesterday, and we've played so much better. Ironically, since we've dropped Salah out the side. So it just all changes again, doesn't it? Rodri says, Key, would you say we have a chance of beating Tanzania on Tuesday? Yeah, absolutely. You should beat Tanzania Tuesday. 3-Star Reds took the 18-1 and off of Villa to win the league. Daft bet, but Leicester were in that rich vein of form when they win it. Mike says, if in fairness you've not played much in them 5 wins. What do you mean we've not played much in them 5 wins? We've won at Inter Milan. We've won at Inter Milan, one of the only teams to win at Inter Milan in years. Clean sheet. We have beaten... no, we've not beaten Aston Villa in that run. Trying to think. Spurs away. Spurs away is a very, very tough game to win. We beat Spurs away. Who the pissing hell have we played in the last 6 games? I've lost my head now. Brighton. Brighton's a good side. Brighton 5 points off the Champions League places not that long ago. Last season, rather. Right, so Spurs, Brighton, Inter, Leeds and Sunderland, fair enough. West Ham, listen, West Ham, I know they're struggling, but still, you've got to beat them. You can only beat who's in front of you. Lisha says not to mention 9 men Spurs. Well, they didn't have 9 men when we beat them. They didn't have 9 men when we were 2-0 up. Sarah says, imagine Villa doing the double over at Arsenal. Corin says, who do you think was a better signing? Richarlison for Spurs or Jesus for Arsenal? Richarlison for Spurs. Hey, only one of them's won something. C. Wheatley says, you have played us, haven't you, Kate? We did, yeah. We played Sunderland at Anfield. I actually thought Sunderland was a good performance. Defensively, I thought we were much better. After 9 defeats in 12, playing Sunderland at home, a team who've beaten Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, you know, they got a point against Arsenal. Sunderland are not a bad side. There's no shame in dropping points to this Sunderland side. Brian Brobby, chance should be. Oh, hey, there's a claim here. There's a claim for a penalty. He's not going to get it. Brian Brobby, he should finish that. That should have been 2-0 to Sunderland. That really should have been 2-0 to Sunderland. Mike says Serie A is a massive drop-off from the Prem. Milan were pumped by PSG. Brighton are poor away. Yeah, they were pumped by PSG, mate, in the Champions League final. Like, you know, you can say Inter Milan are a massive fall-off, but Inter Milan are probably one of the best sides in Europe. There's no doubt in that. You don't get in the Champions League final. Oh, off the bar! Jesus Christ, Sunderland, Brobby again. He's missed 2 sitters in 2 minutes. Brobby should have put Sunderland 3-0 up here. Leeds should be absolutely done and dusted. The 3 points should be in the bag for Sunderland. Adingra, what a ball that is. He puts it on a plate. Puts it on a plate. It's right there. Brobby, header off the corner. Post and bar. Mike says, I do think it's a valid point. It'll be interesting to see how you kick on in Jan with tougher teams. To be honest, mate, I think Liverpool have done all right against the tougher teams this season. That's not a pen, that, Liam. That's not a pen. Yeah, I think we've done all right against the tougher teams. We beat Arsenal. We beat Real Madrid. We beat Aston Villa in this fantastic run that Villa are on. We beat them. We're the only side to beat them. So, we beat Aston Villa. We beat Real Madrid. We beat Arsenal. We've generally done all right against the better sides. It's the sides, for the most part, in the middle and down the bottom end who maybe we should have got results against that we just haven't. Mike says, I agree, you can only beat what's in front of you. My point is you've had a nice run of games. I don't think there's such a thing as a nice run of games, though. If you look at, like, Wolves yesterday, everything says that's an awkward fixture. West Ham away, that's an awkward fixture. Tottenham away. These are sides desperate for a win. At the end of the day, there's an argument to say that playing Aston Villa right now is easier than playing Wolves. There is an argument. I'm not saying that that's the case, but if you play Wolves at home, or you play Villa at home, it's a completely different set of prospects. Villa will come and maybe try and engage you. They'll try and win the game, like they did against Chelsea last night. Wolves, no interest. No interest in engaging at all. 11 men behind the ball, make it very difficult for you. Liverpool and Arsenal, at home against Wolves, have found it very difficult. Maybe the 2 best sides in the league have found it very, very difficult against Wolves at home in the last couple of weeks. So, there's an argument to say, like I said, Wolves are a very, very difficult side to play against. C. Wheatley says, every game is a hard game. It's the hardest one in the world. Hardest league in the world. It is, absolutely. Twisted Fate says, well, I was going to say if I was a Leeds fan, I'd have been disappointed. It's not still even. They was the better side, but Sunderland, 2 huge chances just missed. Sunderland should be 3 up. They should be 3 up. Leeds have been all over the place last 10 minutes or so. Sarah says Arsenal couldn't even score against Wolves. That's also very true, yeah. Red Rebellion says there's no such thing as tougher teams. You play each team twice in the league. And B. McCarran, if we beat Arsenal, do you think we won't get Champions League still? yes, I still think no matter what, Aston Villa will fall away come the end of the season. I don't think this run is sustainable, mate. It's half-time here at the Stadium of Light, by the way. Sunderland 1, Leeds 0. Interesting second half coming because Sunderland really should have put them to bed. That should be 3-0. That should be game done and dusted. There's no way Leeds should even have a chance to be back in this, and yet they still have a chance. So we'll see how the second half shapes up. But yeah, in terms of Villa, mate, I really do. I can't see Aston Villa. I don't see Aston Villa qualifying via the league. I think there's 4 teams that absolutely finish ahead of Aston Villa. Absolutely. I can't see them finishing ahead of Arsenal, City, Liverpool or Chelsea. No way. Not a chance. I think all 4 of those teams finish above Villa. So Villa might get 5th. They could get 5th. You know, I still think United maybe at a push could, if, you know, January comes round, maybe they get a good tailwind with Mbeumo coming back and Ahmad coming back from the AFCON and whatever. Maybe United could step up a notch. But Villa's run is just not sustainable. You're on this amazing run of, what is it, 16 wins in 18 games it is. 16 wins in 18 games in all competitions. That doesn't carry on. There's no way that carries on. You have to expect that at some point you're going to go on a little bad run again. You're going to have a little, you know, a loss, a couple of draws, something like that. And then it's how Villa react to that. It's the same thing with Liverpool. Everyone was saying this not that long ago about Liverpool. 9 defeats in 12. Everyone was going, Arne Slot's going to get sacked. And you recognise that it's a phase. It's not a long-term, this is how the team is now. It's just a phase that they're playing through. And Villa are doing the same. They're in a very, very good phase. And they're riding that wave, and they played excellent yesterday. They deserved the 3 points. B. McCarran says we lost and drew the so-called easier games at the start too. To be honest, you played Villa. You played Wolves, didn't you? Aston Villa, on this magnificent run, they played Wolves, and they only won by 1. So, like I said, Wolves are no hard. That's not an easy game, that. Wolves at home is not an easy game. Wolves away is not an easy game. Davey says we got a chance to keep Jack Grealish. He has said he'll take a wage cut to stay at Everton, and he's enjoying his football more now. I think that would be a horrendous decision from Everton to keep him, for what it's worth. If you pay 12, 15, 20 million quid, whatever it is, to sign Jack Grealish from Manchester City, I think that's a bad decision for Everton. B. McCarran says, where are we up to, sorry. B. McCarran says, so we are in a better position, or roughly the same place as 23-24 when we lost out last season on a dodgy decision. You did. You absolutely did. You played well enough to get top 4 last season, but I still don't think you have enough going forward this year. My concern is Ollie Watkins, I'll be honest with you, mate. My concern is goals for Villa. Defensively, you're actually quite good, but I just don't think you've got the goals in you. That's my issue. Twisted Fate, that's a title-winning record. Villa can't sustain this. They don't have the depth. And Red Rebellion says, well, then Arsenal are even worse than us, who needed Wolves to score their goals. Yes, there is a half-time quiz. 1 second, I just need to go and get it. Lisha has sent me a half-time quiz. We've got a few different options. We've got our little red and blue and yellow and green questions over here as well. Let me see if I can get onto TikTok. That's a question. Can I even get onto it? I don't think I can. Where are you? Mate, I can't see your message. Oh, have you sent it me on... maybe he sent me on thingy. He's possibly sent it me on X. Maybe it's on Twitter. Sorry. Chat. Who am I? Sunderland and Leeds edition. Okay, who am I? Sunderland and Leeds edition. Sunderland, I'm a central midfielder who came through Sunderland's academy. I'm going to give you five things. You've got to guess who it is. Shell says, I'll have to watch the AFCON. Take care. Take it easy, Shell. Not Chris Rigg, no. It wasn't Chris Rigg. Number 2 is I became captain of a top Premier League club. Number 3, I won the Premier League and the Champions League. That should be a dead giveaway. Lucas says, what a strike by a dinger, away the lasses. Away the lasses. B. McCarran, I think Elliott was a panic buy due to Monchi being pressured. No players were coming in, therefore Emery's not playing him and was not his decision to bring him in. I'll be honest, I feel a little bit sorry for Elliott, but I think he's not going to get in a side that's winning 16 out of 18, is he? Like, in the nicest possible way, if it's a consequence, if you play him more, you're going to have to pay a big fee to Liverpool. He's not going to play him. I understand it. Sarah says Henderson. It is Henderson, yep. Jordan Henderson is correct. Liam Manning says, we've had 6 shots to their 5 and 3 on target to their 2, and we haven't been playing great. Okay. You haven't been playing great. Leeds have not been playing great. Again, if that's how you're basing whether or not Leeds have been playing well is number of shots, that's not a metric for whether or not a team has been playing well or not. The stat padders will absolutely love you for that. Okay, next one for Leeds. So, who am I? Leeds. I'm a defensive midfielder from Leeds, and I was the heartbeat of Leeds' return to the Premier League. Who is it? B. McCarran says it's a loan with an obligation, meaning if he plays games, he gets bought. Yeah, I think he's only got 5 more appearances he has to make, isn't he? If he makes 5 more appearances, you have to pay us 35 to 40 million quid, whatever it is. Calvin Phillips is correct. Jacob, yeah, absolutely right. Back to Sunderland. Who am I? I'm a goalkeeper that broke through the Sunderland Academy before a big move. Liam Manning says, Xhaka's underrated so much, can't believe Arsenal let him go. And Thomas Roberts says, all right, Key, how's it going? Good to see you, Thomas. B. McCarran, the reason Monchi did the obligation was because we could not spend it. It's like paying a PlayStation in fees. Jordan Pickford is correct. Jacob, who do you think's been the better side? So far, I think Sunderland have been the better side. Leeds started the half better, but they've not really done enough. Other than the one chance in the game, the one chance where Trey Hume clears it off the line. Other than that, Leeds they've not really been involved in the game enough. And then towards the end of the half, Sunderland 3 big chances. They score one of them. Probably should score the other one, at least where he heads it off the bar. So yeah, for me, I think it should have been, the game should be done by this point. Corin, what's your prediction for the Spurs Palace game? I think Spurs get a win in that one. I've got to say, I do think Spurs get a win in that. I fancy Spurs 1-0. I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. I know I said this one will be high-scoring, but I think this one's going to be low-scoring coming up. Crystal Palace against Tottenham. I think it's going to be low-scoring, and Spurs get the result 1-0. I fancy Thomas Frank to turn it around. Mountain Turtle says, need to give Sunderland their props. No way did I think they'd come into the Prem and be 5th at the moment. They've shocked me. And Omar says, I'm not a prophet, but Aston Villa will finish above Chelsea. Yeah, not for me. Not for me. User 688. Free. What about free? Lucas says, no, as a Spurs fan, we're losing. No, I don't think so. I think Spurs beat Palace today. The last couple of times I've watched Palace at home as well, at Selhurst Park, they've not looked right. Against United not that long ago, they were terrible, especially in the second half. They were poor, I thought, against Leeds the other day. I think they were really poor in Europe. I know they've had to rotate in Europe, but it's just not the same Palace side that we've been used to this season. Colin says, I think it'll be high scoring, maybe 3-2 Spurs, last minute winner. And Jacob, I reckon Leeds get a goal back, but ultimately lose the game. Thomas Roberts says, Palace have been slipping this far in the season. Well, they're 4 games unbeaten. Oh, sorry, 4 games without a win, rather, Palace. So it's not exactly going well. Steve says, I know that because he came with his daughter wearing a half Everton and Sunderland shirt in Everton and Sunderland game. Red Rebellion, I'm going Spurs, 1-0 win too. It'll be a tight game, that one. Thomas Roberts, who's winning the league, Key? City. Yeah, City are going to win the league. B. McCarran, I fancy a Sunderland win against City. That'll be a great game, that one. Again, that's another one that we're live for, Sunderland v City. Spurs have no Xavi Simons and no Romero. That might help them, to be honest. Neither of them have been fantastic in the last few games. Yeah, it might not be the worst thing. That they'll bring in Dragosine, I imagine, and I don't know who else they're going to play over Xavi Simons in midfield. Maybe Archie Gray comes back in. I don't know. Teaching Tony, Premier League dad, what's the best moment you've had as a father? Oh, so far, yeah. Best moment, that's a really lovely question, that. The best moment I've had as a father. It's just the little things. There's not even really one specific thing. It's like it gets... Whatever I answer to you today would probably get replaced tomorrow. She's always doing stuff that I'm just dead proud of. Just always little things that I'm dead proud of. And I could go back to the very first day in the hospital when she grabs hold of your finger and your life just changes in an instant. That's very cliche and everyone says it, but I promise you, until it happens to you, until you are holding this little life and she grabs your finger, oh my God, you have no idea what it does to you. Your mind just goes, that's it. Life is different from that moment on. So yeah, that is probably the moment I've been most proud. But it gets replaced every other day because she's always doing things I'm proud of. Teaching Tony, trying to not bring that into the chat. That's beautiful to hear that it's eternally positive, Kate. It is always positive. Thomas says, when is City playing Sunderland? It's in a few days. Yeah, it's in a few days. Teaching Tony, that's beautiful. Where are we up to? Sorry. Liam says, then she gets a teenager and loads of attitude and sass and then it'll change. Well, yeah, probably. Right, I think we're nearly coming back onto kickoff now. Sorry, I'm just making sure I've caught up with the chat. Where are we up to? Celtic. I didn't know Celtic Rangers on Saturday. The Old Firm. Ooh. Celtic Rangers, Old Firm coming up. Don't fancy that one. Thabo Moyo says Arsenal v Aston Villa prediction. I think Aston Villa get a point in that one. I think 1-1. And Liverpool are going to beat Leeds 2-1. That's Thursday night, isn't it? Liverpool-Leeds. Yeah, intrigued to see exactly how that one plays out. Red Rebellion thinks Villa are going to win that one 2-1. Liam says, trust me, I was like that when my boys were young. Now it's just attitude. Now they're teenagers. Oh, she still gives attitude, don't get me wrong. But it's still special. Still lovely. Lacey says, not a big fixture. Happens every fortnight. They're always playing each... I know, but at the minute it's big, isn't it? At the minute, given how bad Rangers have been, how bad Celtic have been, and, you know, Hearts thriving, it feels a bit bigger because both have had a really, really horrendous season. Mr. Edwards says, afternoon all, Villa to win the Prem, is it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Arsenal 1, Villa 1, and Thomas Roberts says, who do you think Liverpool will sign in the January transfer market? I hope we sign someone in basically every position down our spine. I think we need a centre-back, a centre-mid and a centre-forward. We are desperate for 3 players, I think. Centre-back, centre-mid, centre-forward. We could maybe manage without a centre-forward. Yeah, maybe without a centre-forward we could manage. Depends how quickly Isak comes back. But a centre-back and a centre-mid are absolute non-negotiables. Absolutely non-negotiable. They have to be bought. Corinne says, who's top of the SPFL? It's Hearts, I think, still. Yeah, I'm sure Hearts are top. I don't think it's by much anymore. I think Hearts got beat, didn't they, yesterday? But they're... I'm pretty confident they're still top. Hang on 1 second. Pretty confident they are still top. Yeah, Hearts top on 41 points, albeit they've played a game more than Celtic, who are second on 38. So Celtic only 3 points behind and a game in hand. So yeah, they could maybe get back level. Rangers are 9 points behind Hearts. And to be fair, if you're going to include Rangers in there, then Motherwell are only 11 points behind them. So maybe the Well could get involved as well. Twisted Fate says, if Emery beats Arteta, oh my days, the meltdown from Arsenal fans will go down in history as the largest volcanic eruption. And Mr. Edwards, I've got Villa finishing second behind City, Arsenal in third with Liverpool in fourth. I'd take that. I'd take that now. Corinne, I really want someone to win that's not Celtic. You and me both. Yeah. Right, we're back off and underway for the second half here. Mr. Edwards, I'm a red devil. He is. He's a mank. Omar says Liverpool, Sunderland and Villa will pay for their sins at the Emirates Stadium. Let's go Sunderland, says Thomas. Right, well, we're off for the second half. Come on. Let's have a proper second half where both teams have a really good go at each other. Because this first half was, for the most part, pretty dreadful. Leeds giving it away. Not a great start for Leeds. And here's a Dingra. Dingra's coming into his own a little bit. It looks like he's growing in confidence. And to be honest, given how his career went at Brighton, when he got the move to Sunderland, I was a little bit like, I thought he'd really kick on at Brighton. He's kind of like what Yankuba Minter was, I guess. Yankuba Minter at Brighton now is what Adingra was not that long ago, and thought of as maybe one that the top teams would be eyeing up. But it's been a much, much better performance this from him today. He's not really done enough at Sunderland, I think, but today he's done very well. Here's Leeds, driving into the box. Chance should be 1, and it is 1-1. That's a fabulous goal. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, that is absolutely splendid. It's 1-1. Oh, my goodness me. That is an absolutely unbelievable finish, and it's a great ball in from Aronson. Leeds work this so well. From back to front, Sunderland cut apart. This is a proper team goal, this. This might genuinely get, like, goal of the month. Beats the Sunderland press. Look at the state of this. Little flick, absolutely fantastic. Spread the play really well. This is a top quality goal. Aronson down the right-hand side. Calvert-Lewin makes a great run across the centre, Baz. That's a proper centre-forwards run, that. Aronson, little ball in, no problem there, and it's a great finish. That's a fabulous goal. And there you go, we've got the goal we expected in the second half. Josh says the Leeds falling apart again. Just as you say that, they stick a goal in. Dominic Calvert-Lewin puts it away. Callum says he's done it again. I said he'd score again. Now Brobby coming forward. Sunderland right up the other end. I told you there'd be goals in this one. Might have called it too soon. Liam says 6 in 6 better than Gyökeres. And Corin says he must go to the USA next year. 6 successive Premier League games. How Everton could do with him now. Everton crying out for a Dominic Calvert-Lewin these days. Will says, Key, you have the player curse, I swear. Just as you say, Calvert-Lewin's in form, he scores. I'm telling you. Longest scoring runs. Look at that. Look at that. It's the longest post-war scoring run of any Leeds United player. If he gets one more goal in the next... Who've Leeds got next game? Liverpool. Oh, he's going to break it, isn't he? He's going to break the record against us at Anfield. Chance for Leeds. Should be 2. Oh, have you missed it? Oh, and he's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It really should have been 2. Oh, that should have been 2-1. Leeds should have been back in front. And this is a prime example. This is an absolute prime example. Sunderland should have been 3 up at half-time. No problem, cruising. And what happens? What happens? They don't take the chances, and Leeds come out second half, get 1, nearly get 2. The game has come alive. It's come alive. Jake says, and you said Leeds don't score enough. They don't. They don't score enough. That's true. They do not score enough goals. They don't create enough chances. But that was a very, very good goal. And very well worked as well. Xerxes, what was that from Mr. Edwards? Xerxes up for grabs. Everton, if you fancy him, we'll drive him to you free of charge as well. Yeah, Xerxes to Everton. I think that would be a very good signing. And 3-Star Red says, that's what I like to see. Go to plate up my buffet and come back to see Leeds back in it. Twisted Fate says, hang on a second. Mr. Edwards, I understood the assignment, Steve. Why can't I see Steve's messages? Oh, sorry, I can't see Steve. Sorry, Steve. What a brilliant start to this second half. 1-1. Red Rebellion says so many twists and turns in the league this season and likely many more to come. And you'll be watching them all with Premier League Dad. Will says he's linked with Roma, Xerxes. I could see him going back to Serie A. Apparently, Roma are going to get Beto. Apparently, Everton are doing a swap deal because, obviously, the Everton owners, the Friedkin Group, also own Roma. And allegedly, there's going to be a swap with Beto, who once played quite well in Serie A once upon a time, with Udinese. Apparently, he's going to go to Roma, and Everton are going to get Dovbyk, Artem Dovbyk, from Roma. One centre-forward in, one centre-forward out. How true that is, we don't know, but that's the rumour doing the rounds. Bentham Goal. Hi, Bentham Goal. How's it going? Lisha says, Adingra not supposed to be with the Ivory Coast. No, mate, he wasn't picked. He was omitted from the squad. Leeds with the ball in. Header. Oh, good save from Roofs. Mr. Edwards, I've heard AS Roma and Sassuolo and in for Xerxes. Great ball over to the far side for the Dingra here. Oh, really good play. Claim for a free kick. You're not getting a free kick for that. Come on, mate. Get up. Twisted Fate says, Key, apparently we are going to push for bringing in Baleba and Kone in January. Kone is in Manu Coadio Kone from Juventus. Oh, sorry, no, that's Kefren Chiram, isn't it? Roma, isn't it? Coadio Kone. I always get bloody Kefren Chiram and Coadio Kone were both players Liverpool were going to sign at one point. We very nearly signed both of them. Reece says Liverpool supposedly looking at Semenyo because of the Isak injury. That doesn't make any sense, though. That doesn't make any sense. Semenyo can't play where Isak does. They're not even remotely the same player. Why would we be bloody signing Semenyo? I don't want Semenyo. 3-Star says, did Calvert-Lewin get the Leeds goal, Key? He did, yes, mate. Yeah, it was a very good goal as well. Potential goal of the month contender for me. Liam says they just said every Leeds player touched the ball before Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored. That was a really, really top quality goal from Leeds, that. Mr. Edwards says, I'd rather Elliot Anderson over Baleba, but if we can get both, I'd happily take that. Baleba's a bad egg. He's a bad egg. You don't want Baleba at Manchester United. I don't think that's a good Manchester United signing. No. The guy is literally throwing his toys out the pram. Because he wanted to go to United in the summer, didn't he? And Brighton said, no, you're not going. And because he didn't get that move then, all season he's been dreadful. He's been shocking. They've literally been taking him off at half-time in games. He's been that bad. He was terrible against us in Anfield. He got took off at half-time against Everton. He's down tools, mate. He's absolutely down tools, Baleba, this season for Brighton. It's really, really poor. So, yeah, I actually do. I hope United sign him. I hope United pay 100 million for him. Kwame Kosim says Leeds will win. And Sarah says, according to some United fans, Semenyo was going to United. That didn't age well. I don't know where he'd fit in at United. I don't know where he'd play. Good play from Leeds here. Ball in, unlucky, cleared away. Red Rebellion says Baleba as a holding midfielder is better than Bruno playing there. Well, I mean, in fairness, anyone's better than Bruno playing there. Bruno's just like doing a job. He's just filling in because he's a captain and he's disciplined enough to do the role to a modest degree. But it's not the place where you get the best out of Bruno Fernandes, is it? It's not the place where you're going to get, maximum return on Bruno Fernandes. You want him playing a little bit further up the pitch and having someone doing the donkey work behind him, not having him do that. But it's another angle, it's another sort of string to the bow or feather in the cap of Bruno Fernandes that he's able to play that role to a modest degree. I think he's done that role really well, actually. Twisted Fate says, okay, Key, ironic. Isak refuses to even play to get a move. That's okay. Baleba still plays, but heads elsewhere, and he's a bad egg. Well, that's not quite the same. That's not quite the same. Alexander Isak said that he wanted to move. He didn't ever refuse to play. There's no suggestion that he ever refused to play. What he said was, I don't want to play for this club anymore. I don't want to play for this club anymore, and I'd like the move. And he then got a little bit of a back injury. So he didn't ever refuse to play for the club, because if he refused to play for the club would have fined him. Whereas Baleba, I just think he's a full-on bad egg, like I said. I think if Baleba is down in tools, he's turning up and down in tools, that's unacceptable. Red Rebellion says the fact that Amorim is playing Bruno as a holding midfielder is just mind-boggling. Even Bruno's admitted he's useless in that position. I don't think he is useless. I actually think Bruno's done a half-decent job there. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's done a half-decent job there. Twisted Face says Baleba said he also wanted the move. Yeah, no, I'm not denying he didn't. What I'm saying is he set foot on the pitch in a Brighton shirt and he hasn't give his all. Isak's never done that. Isak didn't do that for Newcastle, did he? There's no evidence that Isak down tools at all. In fact, Isak got Newcastle into the Champions League, won them their first trophy in however many years. Played out his skin last season. He was, one of the best players in the league. That's why he gets the move. Baleba wasn't, though. Baleba's now playing for Brighton, and I feel like he's disrespecting the club and the shirt. Mr. Edwards says he's not useless. He's created the most chances of any player in the Prem this season. That's just facts. I honestly, Bruno Fernandes has massively gone up in my estimations this season. Shay says it's only acceptable when Isak downs tools and refuses to train, isn't it, Keith? Never refused to train. Never refused to train. Again, this is another lie. He never refused to train. Never refused to train. Never refused to play. And only ever gave 100% for Newcastle. So, it's a completely different situation to Baleba. Liam says, I'd rather keep Mainu than Baleba, to be fair. Should be 2. Oh, nearly 2-1. Yeah, it should be. It really should be Mainu getting the minutes over Baleba. For me, I think Mainu would... That's... If anything, I think United fans should be losing their head about that. Kobbie Mainoo is an academy graduate. He's played for England. He should be getting the minutes for United, but he's going to get forced out of the club by a manager who won't be there in 12 months, 18 months' time. And United fans are letting it happen because they want shiny, Baleba. Oh, yeah, give us Baleba. Silly. Absolutely silly. Shocking decision. Twisted Fate says Bruno's useless in the holding 6 midfield when he also had some top defensive stats last season. I don't think he's useless at all. Lisa says Key, pre-season against Celtic, he refused to play a game. Every Geordie expected him to be playing. He didn't refuse to play. There's no evidence at all that says he refused to play. He was injured. That is the party line. And he didn't play again, in fairness, for Newcastle or Liverpool for many months after that. So I personally think maybe he did exaggerate an injury. But either way, he's not played for a while after it, has he? Red Rebellion says Isak did not down tools. He didn't down tools. He didn't down tools at any point. Liam says it's all Leeds at the minute, need to make it count. It shows how quickly the game can swing. Sunderland really should have been 2-3 up at half-time. Leeds come out second half. They're dominating here now. Shay says I'd keep Mainoo over Baleba. Yeah, you should do. You really should. Mainoo's by far a better player. A different player, admittedly, but he's a better player in my opinion. Bentham Goal, do you hate Real Madrid? No. Okafor dragged down there. It's a yellow card for Trey Hume. 4th yellow card this season for him, so he's treading a fine line for the suspension now. Twisted Face says, this is why United is falling apart. I'd keep Mainoo over Baleba. Having both is great depth and makes them have to fight and perform. No slacking or they're dropped. Yeah, I was going to say, because if you drop Baleba, he might react how he is right now for Brighton, which is why you don't want him around the club. Like I said, I wouldn't want Baleba at Liverpool if you offered him us for 30 million quid. Wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want him. Ben says Leeds were a better team in the first half. Sunderland just had moments. I'm not sure I agree with that, Ben. I think Leeds didn't really do an awful lot. They had the one chance where it was cleared off the line. But towards the end of the half, I thought Sunderland were the better side. Mick, 92, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 6 games on the spin, Mick. Hey, just as you need a centre-forward, he starts performing. Just as Everton are crying out for a centre-forward, he starts performing. Scott Downer says Sunderland will stay up, but what about Leeds? Burnley and Wolves are probably going down, but Leeds could stick. West Ham look pretty rough. I still think Leeds go down, personally. I think West Ham will turn it around. They're a better side than Leeds, in my opinion. Better side, better players, better manager. 3-Star Red says, worst decision our club made was selling Roy Keane to United. His career went downhill from that moment. And Mr. Edward says, I'd keep Mainoo, sign one of Anderson or Wharton and get someone like a João Gomez type profile. Depends on the system, doesn't it? I mean, if you're going to play... You need to shift, like, Agate, Casemiro need to go. Fernandes probably needs to go. So, yeah, United are going to go and sign probably 2 or 3 players in midfield, I would imagine. Unbelievable, isn't it? Loco says, good thing you don't need to make these decisions for Liverpool, eh? Well, not really. I've called some big things pretty right, you know, Loco. Sarah says, Wharton won't go to United. He's already said he won't go. I think Wharton will be expected to play Champions League footy next year. United aren't going to be in the Champions League. Wharton will go to somewhere, maybe a City, maybe a Liverpool, maybe a, I don't know, maybe even an Arsenal. It wouldn't be surprising if maybe Arsenal got involved. I don't know, but I feel like Wharton could go and play anywhere. He's not going to play for the team not in the Champions League, so he's not going to go United. And Elliot Anderson, again, Elliot Anderson and Wharton, for me, they'll have the pick. They'll have the pick. Mr. Edwards says, where's Wharton? Said he won't go to the best team in the world. Be Yourself Dylan says Nottingham Forest could go. Forest could go, but I think with Dyche they should be all right. You know, Dyche is a surefire thing. I think he'll keep Forest up by hook or by crook. I saw enough against City yesterday that they'll be all right. Then they'll be okay. They're a resilient bunch. They're not particularly easy on the eye, but they'll get the job done. Mackenzie says Tonali will likely leave to go back to Italy. It's going to be interesting to see what Newcastle do then, if that's the case. Wanderer says, I just need Leeds to get a card key. There's a claim for the handball. Granit Xhaka's appealing, but he's not going to get it. And Will says, which player on the Leeds bench for this game could change it, like a Nonto? I mean, attacking options are not particularly... There's not a huge amount of them for Leeds. Maybe someone like Nemesha. Yeah, maybe Nemesha could come on. Nonto possibly, but if anything, I think the way that Leeds are playing, they're not really getting much joy down the sides. Like, I know the goal come from down the sides, but look at where Sunderland, they're doubling up on them on the wings. So if Leeds are going to get any joy, I think it's going to come through the middle. So they maybe need height coming on. That's why Nemesha would probably be a better shout. Like that type of ball right there. That type of ball is exactly where Leeds are going to get the joy. Claim for the handball. No, you're not getting a penalty for that. Daz says, big up Key. When's his presser for Leeds? Who? Mr. Edwards, that Wharton quote must be hiding in the same places as Bermo and Cunha's comments about not wanting to go the best club in the world. Chance. Oh, Leeds must be. Great block. Great bit of defending from Sunderland here. They're hanging on a little bit, though, it must be said. Lisha said Wharton would be loved at Madrid in that midfield too. I think Madrid, Barcelona, he could go and play anywhere, couldn't he? Erdy, have you ever met a player before they went pro? No. And to be fair, if I had, I wouldn't have realised it. You wouldn't have realised it, would you? You would never have known. Daz slot, I mean, Key. I think it'd be Wednesday, won't it? Tuesday or Wednesday? Will says, great game this. Leeds in the 69th minute. Calvert-Lewin. You think it's coming up in the next couple of minutes, Corin? Here's Sunderland driving forward. Adingra. Far post. It's going to be a corner. Should be a corner, that. Oh, foul. Shocking, that ref. Shocking. That really should have been a corner kick. It's not a foul, this from Trey Hume. That's not a foul. Couple of changes here for Sunderland. Isidore's coming on. Who else is coming on? Brobby's coming off, so I imagine that's Brobby for Isidore. And Rig for Mayenda, yes. Two very positive changes. And here is a player I absolutely love. I think Mayenda is a player that's going to be... He's going to be poached by a top side in the next 2 or 3 years. I think he's top quality. Absolutely top quality. Be Yourself Dylan, Chelsea to investigate after bottle thrown at Villa bench. Very sad. Corin says the defo at least one more goal in this, if not more. And I reckon it'll be soon. Well, we'll see. We shall see. There's got to be 20 minutes of normal time plus injury time to go in this one. Don't forget I'm live straight after this as well for Palace against Tottenham. So if you want to stick around for Palace Tottenham, make sure you click like, subscribe. I'll be live straight after this one. Here's Okafor. Does well there. It's going to be a corner. Corner kick to Leeds. Is it all goal incoming now, says Liam? Over the bar. It's going to be a goal kick to Sunderland. Twisted Fate says quick search shows Wharton didn't say he wouldn't come to United. Yeah, I just don't think he would though, mate. I think he's going to have better offers. He's going to have offers from teams with Champions League football, and I think that's going to be the defining thing for Adam Wharton. He's not going to go to a team that, as big a club as United are, I don't think United are going to be able to attract Adam Wharton when he'll have offers on the table from probably City, probably Liverpool, maybe Barca, maybe Real Madrid. He's not going to be, maybe even Bayern, I don't know, but he's going to have offers on the table from Europe's elite. And Man United can't really compete with that. Ben Hughes says, quite like the look of that Okafor. Very, very direct. Yeah, he's done all right this game, but I think he's been a bit of a... I mean, he's still quite young, to be fair, but he was terrible at AC Milan. He didn't really thrive at all in Serie A. Came with a big reputation from RB Salzburg. Thomas says, who's Liverpool got next game? Leeds. We play Leeds at Anfield. Will says, are they basically now playing with two up front with Mayenda and Isidore coming on? Yes. Mr. Edwards says, I've watched the City highlights. How did Ruben Diaz not get a second yellow card? That Saudi money stretches far and wide. Saudi? Saudi money? Not the Saudis that own City, mate. Here's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Leeds playing very, very aggressively. But that's not the area of the pitch that you want Dominic Calvert-Lewin, in fairness. And now he's offside. Fucking hell, ref. That's not the area of the pitch you want Calvert-Lewin. He's kind of out wide left. You want him through the middle. Steve O'Lad says, yes, Key lad, happy with the 3 points yesterday. Do you have any critiques? As I unfortunately went to Forest v City with a friend and missed Liverpool. What was the good and bad points? Good points was we played very well, I thought, first half. We limited Wolves to very, very few chances. And when I say chances, I mean like P-rollers from 30 yards out straight to Alisson. There was no real chances for Wolves in the first half. Liverpool played very well, controlled the game. We hit the post twice through Ekatike. Wirtz was brilliant. Hit the post through Ekatike and then McAllister. And then Wirtz orchestrated a couple of big chances. Frimpong gets down the right. Frimpong was excellent all day. Frimpong, for me, was the man of the match. He got down the right-hand side, pulls it back. Gravenberch, was a claim for her? No. Gravenberch smashes it in near post, and then literally 2 minutes after that, Ekatike plays it into Wirtz. Wirtz gets the second, 2-0 up. And from that moment on, mate, I thought we'd go on and get 3 or 4. But we came out second half, and it's one of the worst second half performances I've seen from Liverpool. It was very timid. We conceded to Wolves off a set piece, no surprise there. And then we just, I feel like from that point, Arne Slot was just like, right, listen, just get the freaking win, for God's sake. Just get the win. Stop messing around with it. Keep hold of the ball. Just get the win. So it didn't maybe turn out to be as convincing a win as we thought. But yeah, Wirtz was brilliant. Frimpong was exceptional. I thought he was the best bit of the game yesterday. It was massive to get him back in. Red Wave says Leeds have exposed Sunderland. That 5 in midfield is cooking for Leeds. And Tobias says Nemesha goal incoming. Leeds 2-1. There's definitely a winner in this, isn't there? You can sense it. 16 minutes to go. It feels like there's a winner coming. Look at that shot in the second half. Leeds have had 10 shots to Sunderland's 1. Touches in the opposition box. That's the key one. 23 touches in the opposition box for Leeds in the second half. Just 2 for Sunderland. Steve Olad says, did you say Vert's played brilliant and I missed it? I mean, he's been brilliant for weeks, hasn't he? He's been fantastic. Steve says, where do you think Liverpool will finish in the Champions League? I think I'd be very happy if Liverpool got to... I'd be delighted with the semis. The quarters, I think we should be getting to as an absolute minimum. I think if we get to the semis and we get knocked out, I can kind of live with that. I can live with that. Semis would be a good run for Arne Slot. But I think we could win it. I think we've got the ability on the night. You know, there's not many teams can beat Liverpool in Europe. PSV aside. But when we're on it, when we've got our, you know, under the lights at Anfield and all that stuff, you know, it's a very, very intimidating atmosphere. And we can always... There's been worse teams than this one, put it this way. There's been worse teams than this one get to Champions League finals and win European Cups at Liverpool. Archie says, I can see Leeds nicking it here. And Mackenzie says, Sunderland last-minute goal. They've been lucky. They will not let their unbeaten record at home slip. I can't see Leeds winning it. I think if anyone does, it's going to be Sunderland. I agree. I think last 15, Leeds have had their wave, and it doesn't look like they're able to finish the chances. I think that's always a big tell. Sunderland had some massive chances in the first half, didn't take them, and they regretted it. Leeds came out and got the goals. Now, you look at where Leeds are, they've had loads of chances in this second half, not put them away, and now Sunderland will gain confidence from that. And you can see them coming forward. They've got 2 extra men up front. Here's Mayenda, driving forward, strike! Oh, I tell you what, he's a player, him. I'm telling you, I said it when he came on, he's a player. He is an absolute player. DC says, struggling with Wolves and being beat so many times at home, I don't think you'll get that far. What do you mean struggling with Wolves? As if Arsenal, Villa and everyone else that's played Wolves hasn't struggled with them. Oh, unlucky. Corin says, Ampadu nearly scored a banger. Mackenzie says, Key always talks sense unless it's about Canate. Canate? I like Canate. I like him. Twisted Face says, Tolga, I'm never going to say come on Leeds, but I will say this one time, I need him to win. Steve-O says, I don't know what to do though. I got given a shirt when I went to Forest v City yesterday. I won E. Nice. Love that. Steve says, I can't imagine this Liverpool side goes further than round 16, so I think like last season they'll end in round 16. I mean, listen, like I said, I've seen Liverpool sides a lot worse than this win Champions Leagues. So, and get to Champions League finals. So, you know, I can't even say that it is an element of how teams play on the night. The winner of the Champions League usually isn't the best team in Europe. Usually. Sometimes they are, but usually they're not. Twisted Fate says, Key, United didn't struggle, we beat them 4-1. Yeah, but you also lost against Grimsby and Everton. You know, like, for what it's worth, I don't think United are the benchmark when we're talking about Champions League sides. Scott Darner says, Wolves are playing better. It's probably too late for them, but they will take more points in the second half of the season. I think, yeah, Wolves have definitely stepped up a notch. Like I said, Villa really struggled against them. Liverpool, I mean, we didn't struggle per se, but the second half wasn't comfortable. Arsenal definitely did struggle against them. Like I said, 1-1 going into the 96th minute or whatever. And they needed another own goal to beat them in the end. So, Wolves deserve immense credit. It's mad. Joe, how's it going? Mackenzie says, canny good watch-alongs though, very knowledgeable bloke. Cheers, man. Thank you. I think some people would question the latter part of that. But I appreciate it all the same. DC says, you also got bummed against Forest at home. We did, yeah. But I don't think anyone would reasonably argue that Forest are better than Liverpool, are they? In the same way that no one's reasonably going to argue that Grimsby are better than Man United, because they bummed you, didn't they? Mr. Edwards says, hey, come on, Key. Thought it was universally agreed that Grimsby match was never going to be spoken about. Sorry, mate. I was provoked. I was put into a corner and provoked. Twisted Fate says, what's the point? You said everyone struggled against Wolves. Now I mention United. We move the goalpost. All right, when I said everyone, I said all the best teams Yeah, all the best teams. Shay says, love Plymouth Argyle, me. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. You're wrongin'. Erdy says, what are your thoughts on Netflix buying the Champions League? It's just another thing we've got to pay for, isn't it? Let's be honest. We've got to pay for Paramount next year. We've got to pay for TNT. We've got to pay for Amazon. We've got to pay for the bloody everything. So yeah, Netflix, no surprise. Joe says, who's been the better team? The better team so far. It's tough. It's really tough because Sunderland first half should have been 3 up, I think. Maybe 3-1. Leeds had one chance in the first half, whereas Sunderland finished very strongly. They missed a couple of real sitters. I would say Sunderland were the better in the first half. Leeds have been the better in the second. So a point is probably fair on the balance of play. But I am very confident that there's going to be a winner in this game. And I feel like the more the game is going on, it's going to go to Sunderland. So 10 minutes left to go. Ball whipped in for Sunderland. Header. Oh yeah, straight through to the keeper. 3-star Reds. I am going to Grimsby next week. What on earth have you done to be sent to Grimsby? Tobias says, I wouldn't question if Grimsby are better than Man United because it's 100% factual. Corin says, what are TNT not doing the Champions League anymore? I think they're doing some, but not all. The Paramount has won, I think, 27-28 or something like that. The Champions League rights have been distributed elsewhere, Corin. I'm pretty sure it's gone to Paramount. And some has been given to Netflix. DC, it was pens against Grimsby like the third game of the season. Yeah, you're right, to be fair. It was only pens that you got beat by Grimsby. Yeah, shouldn't really count it, should you, really? It's not like you was 2-0 down for the first 45 minutes or whatever. It's not like you needed a late equaliser even to just get it to pens, is it? Liam says the Leeds hate is amazing, honestly. What do you mean the Leeds hate? There's no Leeds hate. Why is it Leeds hate? Sunderland played well first half. Leeds have played well second half. Where's the hate? Mr. Edwards, I'm not having this Grimsby chat. If we played again now and Grimsby started with 8 men, we would definitely win. Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. Yeah, I'll take that. Tobias says Leeds pen, please. No, not a Leeds pen. DC says, wasn't like it was 90 minutes against Plymouth Argyle halfway through the season. Plymouth are a championship side, mate. Plymouth are a championship side, and we were playing our fully, worst, basically our full choice second string. United weren't. It was absolutely our second string. We had Endo at centre-back. We was all over the place. Twisted Fate says, recency bias, as always. We've all lost to smaller teams in the Cups. You don't remember 2001 Grimsby beat Liverpool Key, or is that forever scared out of your memory? I talked about it literally 2 streams ago, mate. We had a Grimsby fan in the chat and we talked about it. Yeah, Phil Jevons scored. I remember it vividly. Sarah says, Mr. Edwards, he's sure about that. I mean, to be fair, listen, you can talk. United's recent form is not very good. The most out of form team in the league, other than Wolves, the most out of form team in the league, Bournemouth, probably should have won at Old Trafford. No wins in 10, Bournemouth, and yet it was 4-4 at Old Trafford. Reece says United fans can't just admit they're shit. And Thomas said rather lose to Plymouth than Grimsby. Plymouth a very good side then when we played them. Here we go. Sunderland driving forward. Here's a Dingra. It's going to be a corner. It's going to be a corner. Dion says this Leeds game on New Year's Day is going to be tough, isn't it? It is, mate. Yeah, listen, Leeds always a difficult side, but I think at Anfield, if we can get some players back, Soberslai will be back for that one. Maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to get get Gakpo back fit. I know he made an appearance off the bench yesterday, but if we can get Gakpo back fit for it as well, that'll be a really big plus. Maybe even Joe Gomez too. Mr. Edwards, I can admit it, we're shit and I've been for almost 10 years. Erdy says, do you remember the conversational chants? The conversational chants? What are the conversational chants from the United fans? Hello, how are you? I am good, how are you? Kung Fu Barbie, loving your overlays. Cheers, man. It's taken some time, but I'm getting there. Joe says, look at all them empty seats. DC, 3 attempts to beat Palace failed. We only needed 1 to beat them. Hey, listen, anyone can beat anyone in a one-off game. Bottom line is you've been garbage for 10 years. Well, we've been winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. So back in your box. Davey says Crystal Palace lineup today looks strong. Well, we'll be live for that one. Willie Nontos, come on here. Yes, I am. I'm on both, mate. Yeah, I've managed to get consistency across all platforms now. So I'm on this one, Y, and TW as well. So I'm across all 3 and it looks exactly the same as this, which has taken me ages, basically a year to get to. Erdy, I meant conversational chants. I know that's what you said, conversational chants. Good lad, smashing it, mate. Proud of you. Not quite. Still a long way to go, mate. But thank you very much. Always enjoy your streams. Go and check out Kung Fu Barbie if you like your Fortnite streams and your COD streams and all that stuff. He's absolutely brilliant. He's one of the very best gaming streamers. Go and check him out. Kung Fu Barbie, top lad as well. Davey says Spurs lineup is weak. Let's have a look at it. I'll have a look at that one in a minute. Mr. Edwards says, although we've been shit for 10 years, we still won more silverware than Spurs and Arsenal in their golden period, apparently. Well, yeah, listen, I'll always defend United on that front, at least. I'll always defend United on that front. The Palace Spurs lineups are as follows. For Spurs, it's Vicario in goal, Spence, Van der Ven and Danzo with Porro at right back. Gray and Bentancur in midfield with Bergvall. I did think Gray might come into midfield with no Xavi Simons in there. And then it's Kudus, Richarlison, Kolo Muani, front 3. That is not a weak Spurs side. I've got to say, I think that's a pretty strong Spurs side. Who else would they have played? Maybe Dragasine, maybe Palhinha. I don't think there's much of an issue there with that Spurs side. For Palace, it's Henderson in goal. Lerma plays at centre-back, replacing Richards. Chris Richards not available because he got injured against Arsenal. So Jefferson Lerma makes his appearance as an auxiliary centre-back for Palace. That is going to be a worry. Lerma, Lacroix and Gueye. Klein at right-back. No Munoz still. That's a real problem. Tyrick Mitchell on the left. Hughes and Wharton. Still no Kamada for Palace. And then it's Pino, Devaney and Mateta. No Sarr. Obviously at the AFCON. So when you said Palace lineup looks good, Spurs lineup looks strong, did you get those mixed up? Because the Spurs lineup, I think Spurs... I said before I thought Spurs would win, and I am even more convinced now that Spurs win. Spurs are 100% winning this game, I'm telling you. They are winning this game. Absolutely sure. DC says, when you win 13 Prems, you can afford to stay out the box a bit longer. And now Spurs lose, I think they're awful. I think Palace haven't won a game in the last 4. Palace haven't been fantastic. They got battered 4-1 by Leeds the other day. Palace are not exactly in a great run of form. Liam Vernon says, yeah, United beat Liverpool in their own backyard. 2-1. You did. And do you know what, mate? I remember growing up, Liverpool beat United many, many times at Old Trafford. Many times. We used to do it. Danny Murphy was a right little fly in United soup. He used to score at Old Trafford winners. He used to have more winners at Old Trafford than hot dinners, that lad. Honestly, he was absolutely a pain in the backside for Man United. And it didn't matter. It didn't make any difference. Because United still won the league at the end of the season. They were still in the Champions League where we wanted to be. And where was we? Playing fucking Slovan Liberec in the UEFA Cup and finishing 6th or 7th. So, it's the same with United. You might get the odd win against us. You'll win the battle, but you will very much lose the war. And that's been the case for the last 10 years. Jake says Palace 1, Spurs 1, I reckon. James G, who's scored? It's Sunderland 1, Leeds 1. The scorers were Adingra and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Sunderland pushing forward, though, now within the 90th minute. How many minutes added on at the end of this one, though? That's the question. How many minutes added on? James G says Calvert-Lewin carrying my FPL, game's gone. And DC says you should have given Gog more game time. Hey, I'm not talking about that era. That era we were actually challenging in and around the Champions League. We competed with United in that era. With David and Gog. I'm talking about before that when we had actually half-decent players, to be honest. I was trying to think of really bad Liverpool centre-forwards we had then. Maybe Juve. Juve was terrible. Elhadj Juve. I can see Spurs beating Palace 3-1, and Jimmy says United to let go of Sir Alex Ferguson. Yeah, saw that, as his ambassador role is it's coming to an end and they're not going to renew his contract. Sad that, isn't it? Twisted Fate says Preston did it first. Liam says game stats have been all Leeds, but non-Leeds fans will say Sunderland have played better. I don't think whoever, it doesn't really matter, does it? At the end of the day, I think a point is probably the fair result based on which sides have and haven't taken the chances. Leeds have had chances. Sunderland have had chances. Who's had more shots? Who's had more possession and whatever? That's all totally and utterly irrelevant. At the end of the day, if you don't take your chances, you don't get points. Points make prizes. Sarah says, I thought Fergie was sacked a while back. I think his contract was, there was talk about it, but I think his ambassadorial role was coming to an end at the end of, is it the end of this season? Or it might even be in January, I don't know. And they're not renewing the contract, is what I read anyway. Nunes was worse than Juve. Don't be silly. You didn't watch Elhadj Juve then. You did not watch Elhadj Juve. I would take Darwin Nunes every single day of the week over Elhadj Juve. Elhadj Juve was absolutely garbage. And I mean garbage. 3 minutes of added on time in the end of this one, and we've already got 2 minutes in. There's only one to go. This one's probably going to be a draw, and it's probably a fair result on the balance of play. Mr. Edwards says, to be fair, I think Fergie is happy to take a back seat, plus the club needs to move out from under the shadow of Fergie. Yeah, at some point that has to happen, doesn't it? I'm rage baiting you, Key. Good lad. Because I did bite. There was a little nibble on that one then. Liam, exactly, and a point away to Sunderland's a great point. Not many have gone to Sunderland and got. Well, exactly. Yeah, no, that's true. And we said that at the start of the game, didn't we? If Leeds get a point here, it's a good point. It's a very good point. So, no bad thing at all. It'll be a good performance, a good point from Leeds. Sunderland keep their home form intact. I don't think they'll be massively disappointed by this either. But I think they'll probably look back to the end of that first half and think if we'd have got a goal around that point, if we'd have got that second goal, game changes. And I think that's it. Full time, referees blown up. There you go. It is Sunderland 1, Leeds 1. It's a pretty poor end to the game, to be honest. I thought we would get a winner in this one. Sadly, it wasn't to be. I am going to be live again in about 15 minutes' time, so please make sure you join me. I'll be live across all platforms as normal, but make sure wherever you're watching this, whatever channel, platform, social media you're watching this on, make sure you give us a like, make sure you follow, and I will be live again in about 15 minutes for Crystal Palace against Tottenham. Big game at Selhurst Park. Take it easy. See you soon.